Welcome back to Hardball. President Bush announced this morning that he's reducing the length of combat tours in Iraq for troops deploying as of tomorrow. Take a look.
We're also reducing the length of combat tours in Iraq. Beginning tomorrow, troops deploying to Iraq will serve 12-month tours instead of 15-month tours. This will ease the burden on our forces, and it will make life easier for our wonderful military families.
So does this reduction in the length of combat tours help validate Senator McCain's argument that the surge succeeded in Iraq? Let's turn to two Iraq War veterans. Pete Hegseth is the chairman of Vets for Freedom, and John Soltz is the co-founder and chair of VoteVets.org. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Let me ask you, Peter, let me ask you first. What do you think this means in the context of the campaign, the rhetoric on both sides? What does it mean to you personally?
Well, it's certainly good news. It's good news for the country. It's good news for military personnel and families that troop deployments will be shorter, and also that our troops are coming home, and what they've fought so valiantly in the surge and with the counterinsurgency strategy, that those gains are being maintained. That as these troops are coming home, a lot of the success and stability we're seeing, it's durable, and it's something the Iraqi government can capitalize on. That was the intent of the surge from the beginning: bring the violence down so the Iraqi government could stand up. They're doing that. We're negotiating a long-term settlement with them. And the reason that's going so well, that we're able to bring our troops home and continue to bring even more home as the Iraqi government stands up, the Iraqi security forces, which are now over 530,000 strong because we've trained them so well, they're starting to take over more and more of the security in Iraq, which is a good news story for the military, and it's a good news for all Americans.
John, what do you think? I mean, the change in troop deployments, you know, the service, the reduction of 3 months in the service in Iraq, the fact that the surge has been successful, the fact that casualties are down. What does this do to the politics of this year, to the two candidates, if anything?
I wouldn't say the surge has been more successful. America is less secure. Al-Qaeda is stronger today than it was, 8 years ago, specifically in Afghanistan. I don't think that this press conference today the president had was anything new. I mean, all of us, like myself and Peter, served in Iraq, love to see troop deployments go down from 15 months to 12 months, but this is nothing different than we knew it was going to happen a year ago. The surge brigades were coming out of Iraq. The troop deployment times are going to go from 15 months to 12 months. This is the second time the president's done a dog and pony show at the White House with this information. We knew 3 months ago he was going to go to 12 months, and the bottom line is that the only guys that are going down to 12 months are the ones that are leaving now. He's not even going to be commander-in-chief to bring them home. So if I'm Senator Obama, I call out John McCain and George Bush for using this sort of, issue for the troops as to their political benefit when it's sort of disingenuous to the American public, and it doesn't change the fact that Maliki says that he supports Senator Obama's plan.
Did I hear you correctly that you said you didn't think the surge was a success?
It's not a success. I mean, we've not seen political reconciliation in Iraq. We're about to have a complete stir-up in Kirkuk. We have a situation in Afghanistan where it's totally, less secure now than it was before. The purpose of the surge is to make America safer, and I don't think anybody believes that. And I think that Senator McCain is off base like George Bush, and that Senator Obama is specifically right to continue to talk about strategy and diplomacy and defeating Al-Qaeda worldwide, then get stuck talking about, a tank platoon or an infantry platoon in the streets of Baghdad.
Peter, your turn.
I mean, I really think only folks with absolute partisan blinders on at this point would be able to ignore the fact that the surge has been remarkably successful. Al-Qaeda drew the line in the sand in Iraq. Listen to Osama bin Laden, listen to Zawahiri. They all said it was the central front where they would defeat the Americans.
It's ridiculous.
Senator McCain and others had the courage to call for a surge which has brought the violence down. And I take issue with this assertion that the Iraqi government has not made progress.
No.
They've reconciled a great deal. They passed 15 of 18 benchmarks.
The core issues in
They've
Iraq
done an outstanding job, and now Al-Qaeda is fleeing Iraq into other places where we're going to take the fight to them as well. So Iraq, at this point, the surge has been remarkably successful on the military, political, and on the economic side, as they're pumping out even more oil and funding more of their reconstruction.
The oil law hasn't been fixed. We have a problem with Kirkuk.
Progress.
I mean, Mr. Barzani says he's going to put the Peshmerga into Kirkuk and fight a war. The bottom line is that Senator Obama has a very, very, very strong plan here to take the fight to Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. Okay, whereas whereas Senator McCain and President Bush have had a plan and a policy of retreat against al-Qaeda in Iraq, in Afghanistan.
John, I don't know where Kirkuk is, but I know where Kirkuk is. And you know what? I think there are plenty of opportunities to ensure that we secure that city.
Kurd or an Arab,
and we talk to, you know, we're taking the fight to them in Mosul. We're taking the fight to them in Diyala. And al-Qaeda is certainly on the run, and they've declared
these issues in Iraq are
front.
political, and Senator Obama has a plan to deal with these issues. He understands this is not about troop levels. This is about regional strategic diplomacy. We cannot get stuck into a conversation about tactics in Baghdad.
John,
this is a conversation about strategy against al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda is stronger now today than when we invaded Iraq. Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan is much stronger today than they were at the beginning of the surge. The surge has failed. It has not completed the political compromises that's required for success of the oil law, for the situation of whether or not these Kurdish cities are going to be part of the Kurdish territories, or they're going to be part of the central government in Baghdad. There's huge political problems still in Iraq, and America's not safer. Senator Obama is the only one who offers a plan, not just to help our military, to defeat al-Qaeda.
If we had done what Senator Obama wanted to do in January of 2007, we'd be all out by now.
If we wanted to do what Senator Obama wanted to do in 2003, we would never have gotten into this war, and we would have defeated al-Qaeda in Afghanistan.
We have to ask ourselves who has the judgment to make sure that we take the fight to our enemies in Afghanistan. And I think that the crucible of that was the surge decision. McCain stood behind it and fought for it. It was remarkably successful, despite what John and others may want to believe. And I think he'd have the judgment to make sure we take that fight in Afghanistan. If you had taken the 5 surge brigades that went into Iraq and you'd put them in Afghanistan, you would have gone from 2 combat brigades in Afghanistan to 7 combat brigades in Afghanistan. The central front of the war on terror has always been in Afghanistan. Osama bin Laden is in Afghanistan. It's completely ridiculous to think that the surge has been successful when al-Qaeda is stronger today than they were a year ago. Al-Qaeda is not stronger than they were.
Absolutely they are.
Listen to the intelligence and their capabilities. They're absolutely decimated.
How can you even say that when we have Afghanistan that's in absolute, utter, complete chaos right now?
It's not an
Our NATO allies aren't completing their missions in Afghanistan. I mean, I don't. This is very simple math. I mean, this is coming from the same guys who spun us on WMD in Iraq, who spun us on we've turned the corner 10 times. We turned the corner so many times in Iraq before last year we walked in a square. It's ridiculous.
We may have things that there are obviously things that need to be taken care of in Afghanistan, but to declare it chaos, I think it's going a little far.
Could you not tell me right now that if you had taken those 5 surge brigades and you put them in Afghanistan, that we would be much closer to victory in Afghanistan than we are today?
And today we would have lost
these
where
problems in Iraq
declared that they would defeat
based.
us in Iraq.
They are politically based problems in Iraq. I don't know how Senator McCain and President Bush are ever going to get around the fact that the Prime Minister of Iraq has endorsed Senator Obama's plan. Senator Obama should continue to play offense between now and the rest of the election on these issues.
Gentlemen, thank you for the conversation/debate, and thank you especially, both of you, for your service. Pete Hegseth, John Soltz, we appreciate it.
Thank you.